Hey there friends, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Claire and I have been thinking a lot lately about what has been going on with our earth. You know, the Australia fires have been really hard to watch. They're just like devastating that whole entire country. So I just started thinking a little bit about, what are some things that I do to decrease my impact on the environment. And I thought I would share 3 of my main things with you today. They not only help the environment out a little bit, but they also save me a little bit of money, which is always a bonus. The first thing I want to talk about is buying things in bulk. So my example for this is I bought a great big bag of just old-fashioned rolled oats. And this is beneficial because it's cheaper than buying the individual packets of oatmeal, because this entire bag holds way more oats than the little tiny bags of oatmeal combined. This is a healthier option, less sugar, motivates me to add stuff to it, so like fruits, stuff like that. And what I do is I just measure them out into these little individual mason jars. So I bought a whole set of mason jars, and they're great because they're basically like, a little to-go container. You can reuse it over and over because it's made of glass, not plastic. And then of course, when you're done, you can just pop it in the dishwasher, wash it, and reuse it. So it's really nice. What I do is I will fill all of these up with the dry oatmeal, store them in the pantry. And then when I know I'm gonna be wanting some, I'll add a little bit of milk to it, put it in the fridge for a couple hours or overnight. And I'll also add fruit to it if I have some. And then I can take it with me to work, have it for like a small breakfast or a midday snack. So this is something that I have come to do like constantly. As soon as a clean one comes out of the dishwasher, I automatically refill it with oats. So I did get the smaller size of mason jars. I kind of regret that because it can only comfortably fit 1 serving of oats, and sometimes I want 2 servings. So I wish I'd gotten a little bit bigger size mason jars, but I mean, overall it works pretty well. So these are just the dry oats. Like I said, I have a whole set of these and I store them in the pantry. So there's just a whole line of jars full of dry oats. The second thing I want to talk about is something that's called Imperfect Foods. For the longest time, it was called Imperfect Produce, but they recently changed the name because they don't just sell produce anymore. If you live in an area where you can get Imperfect Produce, I highly recommend it. It has changed my world since I started using it. I eat so much more fruits and veggies, and what's so great about it is they deliver to your house and you get the produce, or I guess you get the foods for a discount. And it's hard enough for me to spend money on produce because it can be really expensive, and I find so often I'll buy a bunch of produce, I eat half of it, and then I don't eat the rest in time, so it spoils and I have to throw it out, so it was a waste of money and a waste of food. Imperfect Foods is great because you're getting it at a discount, and they actually take food that was already gonna go to waste. So they take the food from grocery stores that the grocery stores threw out, and they said, this doesn't look good enough for us to put it on our shelves and sell it. It's perfectly good food, it just didn't look quite right. And so Imperfect Foods takes those foods and then resells them for a little bit of a discount. Occasionally I will have to still throw some of it out just because I don't eat it in time and it spoils, but I still don't feel as guilty as I normally would have because it's, it was food that originally was gonna go to waste anyway. So this one just arrived today. It was sitting outside my door when I got home from work. It's still cold from sitting outside. So it's a big box full of stuff, mostly produce. I think I got some tofu too, but this was all food that was gonna be thrown out because it wasn't good enough for the grocery store. So firstly, I got some organic tofu. I didn't used to be much of a tofu person, but since I started ordering Imperfect Foods, it's encouraged me or inspired me to branch out and try different foods. And it turns out I really like tofu. It's a good source of protein. And the other thing is I don't usually buy organic food because it's just, so much more expensive most of the time, and I am always trying to like cut costs where I can. When I buy from Imperfect Foods, I just feel like I can buy organic because, it's already at a discount, and so I just am more motivated to buy organic. But they also, you can get organic or non-organic foods, just conventional. I have some oranges, so you can kind of see there's definitely some imperfections to them, but I don't care, it's still gonna taste the same to me. There's some onions in here. I like to roast onions a lot. I have a whole kale bunch. I like to make kale chips. celery. This is a broccolette, so it's basically broccoli, but just looks a little bit different and it's tinier. And then this is a head of cauliflower. That's my imperfect produce, I guess, Imperfect Foods. So usually on the night of my Imperfect Foods delivery, I'll just turn on a podcast or some music and just like prep it all and store it in containers. So it's in my fridge and ready to go when I'm ready to use it. Just because like if I'm making a recipe and I'm like, ooh, I could use that whole head of cauliflower, but it's like, oh, I would have to take 10 minutes to chop the whole thing up and I don't feel like doing that. But if I just take some time, prep it all at once, then you know, it's just ready to go and I'm much more likely to use it. The impact they have on the environment is great because it's preventing food waste. It's cheaper for you to buy it. And that's just something that I do religiously and highly recommend. The third thing I want to share is the stretch to fit food covers. My mom has always used these like my whole childhood, and I always wanted some because they're so nice and I could never find any for some reason. And then last time she visited me, she found some at the Target we were at and got them for me. So they're super convenient. They're very similar to Tupperware. I mean, it's like the same effect, but you can just section out your food into bowls and then pop the cover over the food. I jokingly call them the shower caps because that's what they look like and that's basically what they're doing to the food. The downside is they are plastic or a material similar to plastic. So eventually one day they will be sitting in a landfill. But my mom, I think, had the same ones like the whole time I lived at home all through high school and everything. So they last a really long time. They are microwavable, washable, reusable. You just have to wipe them out once in a while, but I love these things. They come in all shapes. This is a really large one. So like I feel like I could literally wear this in the shower and it would protect my hair from getting wet. But you could just have a bowl of food. If you have like leftovers from the food that you made, you can just pop this over the bowl, put it in the fridge, and it protects the food just like it would if you put like sectioned it out into Tupperware. They have big ones, medium-sized ones, small ones, really small ones. And I got like a variety pack, so I have a ton of different ones in here. So thanks, Mom. So if you have anything that you specifically do to decrease your impact on the environment, please communicate that with me. Comment on this video below because I really, really want to know more things I can be doing to decrease my impact on the environment. It's also a bonus if it saves me money. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I appreciate it more than you know. You watching this video, messaging me, talking to me about it just means the world to me, and it makes me feel like I have someone in my corner, I guess, which is always a good thing. So thank you again so much for watching this, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.